All right. Hi, everyone. Hi. Welcome to the 372nd meeting of the New York Comics and Picture Story Symposium. I'm Bill Cardelopoulos, one of the co-curators of the symposium this season. And I'm very, very happy to welcome this really nice group of people here tonight to hear our talk with Sun Ni, who I'll introduce in a minute. I did want to just say one thing about the symposium first before I introduce our guest tonight. The New York Comics and Picture Story Symposium was founded more than 10 years ago by Ben Kachor as a kind of offshoot of the Occupy movement as part of an attempt to create some kind of space for free public education. And what it has become over the years has been a free, open to the public weekly speaker series where artists and other people involved with comics and visual narrative and text image work present their work and engage in conversation with the audience who comes to hear them. In the past, that was usually in person, but since the COVID pandemic, we've mostly been doing it online. And one of the benefits of doing it online is that time differences notwithstanding, it does make it possible for us to have international guests like Sun, who is joining us this evening. So this season, the symposium is curated by Ben Kachor, myself, Lily Correa, who's here tonight, and Austin English. And tonight, I'm very pleased to be introducing the artist and publisher Sun Ni. Sun is joining us from Taipei, Taiwan, where it is currently 7:07 in the morning. And so don't let yourself forget that. Every time you're tempted to forget that, look at Sun's breakfast shirt. Okay, there's the croissant, there's the coffee. That's what you want. That's how you want to start the day. Exactly. Okay. So Sun is here with us tonight to present a talk called Think Like a Book. Sun Ni was born in 1984, born and raised in Taipei, Taiwan. Sun primarily works in drawings. Her practice involves both drawing and redrawing, editing and re-editing to create a pool of drawings that then can produce new work. In addition to being an artist, Sun founded the publishing company Nos Books in 2008. Nos Books is an independent publisher founded by Sun. Hong Kong artist Shihui has been a partner at Nos Books since 2014. In their own description, the publisher states, "We strive to realize artists' ideas and concepts in unique book forms. Our books are limited edition works by artists from Taiwan and abroad." Nos Books also runs a space in Taipei called the Nos Books Space. So in addition to publishing, running this space, Sun's work, some of you may be familiar with it. Her work has been published in Lagon Review and has been published by Nieves, DMP editions. And of course, Sun has produced a lot of self-published work. And Sun and other people associated with Nos Books have frequently appeared at the New York Art Book Fair and other art book fairs here in the United States. And before we hear from Sun, I wanted to just say myself, this is a real pleasure. Years ago, and I don't remember when it was, I think maybe it was 2013. Sun, what year did you publish this comic? Do you remember? Oh, 2014. Got it.
It's 2014.
Yeah. So it must have been 2014 New York Art Book Fair. And at the time, now when you go to the New York Art Book Fair, when they still do it, and it has happened since COVID, you'll find a fair number of people who are involved with comics, but even as recently as 2014, I remember walking around the fair and being very interested in a lot of things that I was seeing, but also feeling like comics weren't really much of a part of the New York Art Book Fair initially, except for maybe a few isolated artists who might be there, like Aiden Koch or others. And then I remember just walking around and walking through this big giant white room full of stands, full of tables of people selling things. And it was almost the end of the day, and I was ready to go. And somehow I just ended up in front of this table that had all of these really, very interesting, beautiful, well-designed little books. And then I saw this. This is one of the best things I have ever found unexpectedly at a book fair. This is what everyone dreams of, especially if you're me and you're interested in comics and you always want to find interesting comics that you've never seen before. This is maybe, in terms of contemporary work, number one experience, okay? Because I just somehow saw this thing that doesn't even look like a comic. It barely says comics. I wasn't even sure what the title was. It says Folder Attacks, Issue 1, Buddha Jumps, Comics. And what is it? It's a folder, and inside, and it's very stiff cardboard, and it's silk. It looks like it's got silk screen printing on it, and then inside it's this layers, this kind of these one-page comics, but they alternate translucent layers with opaque layers that each have different colors printed on them, and the two layers interact to form a complete image. And there are other design elements here, like these navigation tabs that tell you as you read this folder comic who the author of the comic you're reading is, the use of different colors throughout. All of these, I mean, and this is just a beautiful physical object that I treasure. And I knew nothing about the publisher or any of the artists involved. Later, maybe a year or two later, I had an opportunity to guest edit an issue of World Literature Today magazine. I did a survey of several international publishers, so I took that as an opportunity to email Sun and ask about Nos books. One of my big regrets in life is that my Western brain took Sun's name, which is spelled the same as the word son, meaning like a male child in English, and without I never having seen a picture of Sun, talked in person, I referred to Sun as he in the article without even thinking. And only immediately after it went into print did I learn my mistake, and we were able to correct the digital edition. But that's the most shameful misgendering that I've committed that I'm aware of. So I felt very bad about that. But Sun really enjoyed it and thought it was really funny because it created this imaginary, like almost male twin version of herself out in the world. And that's the other thing about Sun's work, and both as an artist and publisher, even though it's very high artistic quality, there is always a sense of humor, I think, that comes through a lot of these projects. So that was a very long introduction. I'm sorry for talking so much. Without any more words from me, please join me in welcoming Sun Ni to the New York Comics and Pictures Symposium tonight.
Okay, thanks for Bill's introduction. You said a lot of good things about me. I hope today I can share something with everyone. And I just started. And before I get started, there's Chi Hai by me. Hi. We share the same publishing house, and we do the publishing together. And here is a cat lying here, also accompanied with me. Yes, I'm based in Taipei and Taiwan, and I do drawings most of the time. And sometimes I do comics. Usually people ask me to do comics, then I do comics. And I will share something with you now. And the first, I will share the relationship with me with manga, comics a bit to tell you how's going on when I was a kid, how I know comics. When I was a kid in the 90s, we in Taiwan we have a lot of Japanese manga. And that time manga and comics I don't really know the difference. I thought manga is comics, comics is manga. And usually the manga are black and white, as everybody know now, and only cover have colors, or some special pages have colors, or when they put out to animation and they have colors and something else. And usually they are thick with cereals, and it was super cheap. And when I was in teenager, there's a lot of comic rental shop all around the city. And some people, maybe when I was teenager and the older generation, people want to open their own business. This day, people open coffee shop, but at that time, people open comic book shop because it's really easy to buy comics with a pile of comics, and so the comic manga bookshop open and close and open and close. And and that time, because it's a huge entertainment business, and everyone really engage it, and there's no internet that much or social media, so people just go there. Even the people on their job, they have a break, they go there to watch comics, watch manga. Maybe just rent, you watch there, or maybe 15 cents for each book. It's super cheap. So many different sections of comics like horror or love or creepy love, creepy horror, so many different kind of sections. So I think it's really easy for people to develop their habit, and people really easy to critique in this world because it's so vivid and so many things you can dig out. So it's not really a level thing to join this to grow this habit, I think. And to me when I back then I also don't have any taste about comics. I just go into the comic shop and read whatever I saw, and most of the time it's thick, but I read it really really quick because I read it in bed, I read it in school, I read it while teachers talking. So it developed me. I read it really fast. So sometimes when I read the comics, made me slower. I feel sorry, manga. When I read the manga, when it's slower, I feel it's not a good manga because manga is about that you have to keep the speed, keep the reading speed. So, but at that time, my parents not allow me to read manga, but my father secretly read it a lot. And when he read it really slow. Like one book of manga, can read for an hour or 2 hours. He really enjoy every panel that the artist want to tell more by the drawings. Like he will show me, say, look, he drew these leaves falling. It means autumn. It means a season pass. But I never get it. I feel it's a joy missing. Like if I watch a movie and I keep thinking how they filming the movie, then it's like I cannot get into the story. So this is a more thing when I was a kid. And then I started to develop my which artist I like, something like that. And some Japanese comic not being translated yet. So I will go by the Japanese version. But when I read the Japanese version, I still reading the same speed, like still really fast. I can see only kanji, but not really understand the whole meaning of the comics. But I still read really fast, and every time I reread it, I feel, oh, there's something more I understand, but I don't really feel it's a bad thing that I couldn't understand the artist in a full page. I think it's fun to understand in my own way too. It's also a fun thing, but maybe not really good. I don't know. And recent this year, this now, like the past 2 3 years, there's some older Japanese comics like Galo style comics, Galo style manga translate, like all comics become translate to new and be published. And when I read it, I have a strong cultural shock. Like it's totally different in my imagination, and also different time space zone, and the culture, everything is like but if I just read it in image, I feel all these things quite in a big surface, not surface, big flat area, like not not separate this that much about time culture thing. So it's a really culture shock, and also feel like there's an other the artist's voice come out to telling the story, because before I don't understand, I think it's my own voice to tell the story. And this kind of cultural shock also come from also like when you see the black and white manga, they sometimes the artist draw the cover in with color, and some character hairs are green or pink. This also culture shock to me. Like, in my imagination, it shouldn't be that way. Or like these days, some manga become animation, and the vocal is really high pitched, like. And sometimes I also get shocked too. So I think this is something I got shocked. Yeah, some comics. Yeah, I can show some comics I like when I was a kid. I really like this guy. He draw. His name is, I don't know if it translates in English. It's Daijiro Moro Hoshi. He's I think he's 70 something now, and he started to draw really young. And his drawing is really, I don't know how to say. In the first time, I thought it was not traditional manga style. You can say, yeah, a little bit awkward, and you feel all the character. You know it's the same character, but the side is different. It's really awkward, but when you read it, it's really smooth, and he has a lot of imagination thing, really good, mysterious mysterious sci-fi monster. Young. And humor, with a lot of humor. And this guy loves books too. And also, yeah, I can share more later. And okay, let me see. And about the comics that time, to me, I never know comics when I was a kid. We only know manga, and we saw Batman or Marvel, but it's on cartoon or movie. I thought Batman is a cartoon, a movie, not beginning with comics. So yeah, And to cartoon, I think in my generation, when I was a kid, we have a lot of pirate cartoon, especially Disney, like even short cartoon without words, without dialogue, only movements, really for kids. But I think they make the conversation really smoothly. You even didn't notice they are out of the words. And sometimes all the small motion, I think the small motion is really important to me in the cartoon world, but it's not really help in the storyline. Like usually the small action in the character is not really helping the storyline. If the movie comes today, like the YouTube 5 minutes watch a movie thing, all this movement will be cut out this part. Yeah. And this is a shorter background of me and the little comics and cartoon. And I will start to tell a little bit of my work and also combine with my publishing house. And let me see what's first. Oh, in the beginning, I never draw comics. Even when I was a teenager, I watched so many manga. I never think of drawing manga because in that time the manga world is a pack really, it's an industry. Even though I don't know how to draw manga, I know you need to prepare proper paper and proper pen. And even I don't know it, I know pencil cannot be print out, only the ink can print out. Sorry, only the ink can print out, and all these things limited my way of do it because maybe I just want to do by pencil, but I acknowledge that manga need to draw by ink. So many limited things, or halftone sheets, or like some. It's a yeah, and also the way they print it is all combined in the same standard. Yeah, so I never try to draw manga. And during the after my college time in Taipei, there's a thing about people selling their own stuff, printing on different material. It's like you just do your drawing, but you make keychains or tote bag or everything with the using purpose. And you put your drawing on it and sell it. And this is like how people will appreciate because it's useful stuff. And sorry. And during that time, I also made a lot of these selling things. But sometimes at some point, I feel I get bored of, not get bored. Always, I feel bored. Yes, I feel bored that I put my drawings on the things I don't need, and I don't need this keychain. I don't need this cushion thing.
Where did you sell them?
Yeah, we sell in the market like these days book fairs, but that time is like a creative market. Yeah, and then I start to make my first book. It's a collage and with my drawings, and I show my friend, one of my friend, and she said, what she said? She said, no one will buy this book. It's about your drawing, and you should make a book like ask the people walking on the street, say, what's in your bag? And then you take a photo of their bag and then you edit it and make it a book. And that's kind of the book that people will buy. So then the first book I didn't really publish. And a couple weeks later, I felt, nah, it's okay. Maybe I draw comics. Maybe comics is something more related with started to make a conversation, not just a collage or drawing, but it's something to tell other people. So the first time I made this really small comics. It's about mermaid, and every page is just one panel. It's about how mermaid kill people. Kill people? Yeah, kill guys. Like there's a turtle, and the mermaid will go into the turtle head, and then they will birth more mermaid. Like this. Not turtle. Yeah, turtle head. Sure. Okay. And when I published this book, I don't know really much about book publishing or how it works, so I just draw it in one A3 paper and cut it and fold it. And at the meantime, I'll also stick it something cute on it and maybe a little bit, and also something with 3D and also connected to the story. But I think this is a, if I do it this day, I won't do this. I think this is more like a lack of confidence showing comics. Like to add something extra, maybe people will buy or pay more to buy. Yeah, this is the first comic book I do. And my comics usually I draw comics without words from long time. One thing is you don't need to really translate. And I also think comics, if I can tell the story or the thing I want to say by the image, it's already enough for me. Like my experience, the manga and the cartoon from the before, I think it's yeah, it's words can't lie lah. But the drawing, the drawing can't lie. The words can. Yeah. So this is something. And okay, and now I will show some photos of my work and how I end up here. Let me see how to.
You should have a share screen button with an arrow at the bottom.
Okay. Okay, I got it.
Okay, cool.
Okay. And then I started to draw some drawings and comics. The first time I started is Lost Without You. It's also a friend asked me to draw some panel with drawings, but I feel if I is that okay? Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's perfect.
So they did ask me to do 10 page. They didn't say it's a comic comic invitation or anything that I can draw whatever I like, but I draw it. You know, but I draw comics. And the story is just a ball and hit each other. And then the ball just bumping around and going somewhere else. And that time I using the halftone thing to draw through.
Mm.
And after this project, I make to my own book called Travel. So usually people ask me to do comics and publish it in their book. And after when they finish selling or sold out the book for a couple of years, I will take it back and add several pages to extend the story. So starting that, I start to re-edit it and I take out all the halftone that I feel is also garlic. No, not garlic. But in this book, I print myself with Riso. I started to have Riso in other project, but this project I started to use Riso, and I want to print on the paper that similar to the paper I draw. And in these pages, because I want to the gold ball really fixing the pencil. But as people know these days, Riso is really difficult to make a really fine, like it moves. The color will
Registration,
registration.
as we say.
So I have a lot of leftover pages, tons of leftover pages. It just stuck in my machine. So I make another book by the leftovers, and it called Eternal Sunset because I have so many leftovers, and some pages are really bad. Yeah, the size keep moving like this. So I think I make 30 copies of this stack, this kind of book. And later on, there's a Canada publisher called Slow Edition, and they reprint this book. And they also ask a resale publisher Color Code to do it, but they have better skill, so their golden planet doesn't really move that much, so they intentionally to move the yeah. Okay, this is the second one, and it goes the comic thing to me. I think it goes really smoothly, and then I meet Lagon, and then I will go back to my screen. Sorry. You see me again, right? Okay. And Lagon, they are publisher based in Paris, and every year they make a pile of like a comic Bible thing, and with all kinds of printing technology, but it's not really about showing the technology. It suits all different artist style. I think this is also something important. And sorry. And they make they asked me to do the also comics again, and yeah, I go back to my okay. And also I make after they sold out all the books, they sold out really quick though, like maybe not even a year, and they will sold out all the books. So I make another small thing about it, and I extend some pages to make the story complete. I was going to say longer, but it's complete. And during that time, for drawing for Lagon or for people, I draw like one page by page. I didn't draw by edit it that much. I still draw by one panel to one panel, and everything erase or continue in one page. And then with this is something I do for nieves. And from this time, I start to draw on some small papers. Some small papers like cards, and I will set up a size of these cards, and then I draw a lot of it, and I edit it, rearrange it in the story. And after this, Bill asked me to do a show in Formato. So that time I make a re-edit with these Neve stories with Lagon's the Sun Shadow stories, and make it to like a ceramics to show. And I think the problem I met in because we do comics and we do books, or the final output is books. Usually the original work is not really important because the artwork I want to show is a book. So when I go to the exhibition thing, I need to think another output, not just a book. So this is really tiring. This is really not tiring. It's fun, but let me.
你需要重新适应新的 material.
Yeah. Every time I need to adapt to the new material to show. Even though I draw on pencil or by oil paint, it's not the original material I use. Yeah. Even though the come out is really nice, but I still feel it's like putting my work in other surface.
那为什么不用自己为什么不修自这样的道具？
我也不知道。
油画是一些碎片。
OK， yeah.
因为油画的时候都是一些碎片。
Chi Hai said why I didn't put on just papers, but to show on the exhibition because it's all like this. All my original is like this. If I want to show this, it's just a pile of unready sketches.
然后你会画很多同一张你会画很多不同的草图。
Yeah, and every one drawing I make a lot of line, and make one drawing I will redo several times. So it's just a pile of unedited thing. It's impossible to show. But in the book, I already come out to a book. Okay. And during that time, my friend, also in the same period with my question about how the exhibition should be like, because I think as a book artist or comic artist, we do exhibition is for selling books. We not like people do books for exhibition, but basically we like books more. So it's a really big different way of output for me. So at that time, my friend, another Taiwanese publisher called DMP Edition, and she asked me to give her my drawings to publish, and she take all my drawings, even though the shaky one or the sketch one, not the perfect one. She just take all, and I didn't ask her. I'm not in the edit part. She do all the edit part, and some drawings she put in the book I don't really like, but I feel okay. I feel it's a way of other people seeing my work. And she also say about this book is like she think all of my work as a music do re mi, and then she composed it together. So I think it's a really romantic thing, as thinking my work as a material and to present the work she want to accomplish. And during that time, I have a show in a gallery space, and it's also okay, in a gallery space, and I fell in the same dilemma again. Is what should I show on the wall on an empty space, and it's the space. The space is not big, but it still needs some transform of my work. Maybe I should make it bigger, or maybe I should put another material, and these things really tires me. So I think at that time I made another project. It's called Series 12. I try to set a new system between me and gallery, and also the gallery system made me feel not weird, made me feel it's a selling place. It's a place for selling. People want to buy, and the gallery want to sell. And as a publisher, I also know this. I cannot ignore that people want to sell my work, this knowledge. So you cannot just tell me, you do whatever you like, you just present your art, it's okay. It's this kind of idea that is already in my mind. The service feeling of service the gallery or the audience thing is in my mind. So I set up a system between me and gallery, so I feel more comfortable to let people join my system. And the system is I draw 12 booklet, 12 series, and it's different content inside. And here has a small small introduction, not introduction about the series. And basically, the first one only have one copy, and the second one have 2 copies, and the third one have 3 copies, and the 12th one have 12 copies. And also, I set up the price, And each copy I trace. So each copy are original and also traced by me. So it's yeah, every copy is original at the same time. And they have and also I set up the price. I set up every price are equally the same. So like I forgot what price I set up. Maybe like for example, formula that number one is 12.
For example, 1,000.
For example, 1,000 US for the first one. And the second number two will be 1,000. Half of 1,000. And then the third one will be one third of 1,000 and then continue. So the 12 will be so much cheaper, but at the end it's all original. So it's
more workload.
Okay, and actually I draw the 12. I draw 12 times this book. Like I draw 12 times. More work, but I get less, and this is why I set up a thing, and I can show you one of it. And at that time, the 12 series is a different of editing from my pile of paper, and I scan it and I edit it in different ways. And I think then I started to think my work in a different way, since the word is not really exist in my comics. And usually I'm telling the same story in a way. So I pick up all the things and rearrange and telling the same, telling a new story. Yeah. Let's see what else. Oh. And last years I do another work in graphics. So it's also an exhibition thing. And also at that time, I'm more relaxed about drawing and re-edit my work. But I want to edit in graphics because I feel I want to see how the books look like. To a gallery space, I feel it's also a book. So I want to see how the books look like. So I prepare a lot of my small drawing, but bigger version. So I bring a lot and I edit there. It's also really tired because you need to edit a book in 3 days, basically. And this time I have some words. I don't know why. Maybe I have something want to say that time. Yeah. Okay. I think, yeah. I think I'm back. And should I continue?
Well, no, you can do whatever you want. I think because did you want to talk a little about Nos books too?
Yeah, okay. I can talk Nos books from now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And okay. Oh, in the meantime, I also help my friend or some artists publish their work, because in the beginning I come up with the small mermaid book and I need to sell it. I make a book, I need to sell the book. So I go to all bookshops, but I only have one book and only have one content. So it's really difficult for me to do this like a book tour and sell my book for only one copy.
It's time and money to travel.
It's waste time and money to travel. So I started to ask my friends that, yeah, let's publish some books. So I have some more books for the bookshop to choose. Maybe this suit for different bookshops. So I started to make my friends work, and because I in that time not really know how to make books, but I have so many ideas about how to show my friends work. So I can show you some of it. Like the first, my friend do photograph. She's a photographer, and this is the first time we use Resolve to print. And every page are the same, because when she do photo book, when she take photos, she also make movies by her side, but she never show the movie movement to other people. So I asked her to do a sticker, and it's like a movie clip, and you can paste back to the pages, and it become a slowly motion photo book.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one thing. I think this is the time I want to let the audience to know artists more by interaction. Like they need to take down, and they have to confirm that, yes, I saw this page. So it's more like an interaction thing. And this is another friend who do drawings. You know, she do drawings, and she's a really shy person and not really show people her work. So I had hidden her page in some her drawing in some scratching material thing. You have to scratch to see the thing. And like in this project, I want the paper is really rough, but sometimes when you go to printer will say no, because this is rough, and the scratch is usually just silver coated on a really shining surface. So they say no to me, say impossible. If you just paste if you print a drawing on the rough paper and then coat it with silver, it's impossible to scratch. So when they say no to me, I don't give up, and I don't give a shit. I said, okay, so maybe we can do stickers. So this is like a stickers, and it's a more shining surface, more coated surface stickers, and it has different kind, and then coated with silver, and then I paste on the rough paper. So this is like how I try to do it. If the printer say no, I will see what I can do for you. Let me see. And also the photographer girl is a Flickr card, and that time she also do a lot of Flickr for her work. GIF file for her work. So we make a Flickr to present her work. And I think also that time my friend, they are artists, but we are really young, like just graduated. And at that time, Flickr, I don't know if people still know Flickr. Flickr was a thing for sharing our works, but things just continue posted. And when things get continue posted, we want to make more than just post it. It's like a project thing. But when they have an exhibition in a gallery space, they will present more fine work. But I'm more interested in the background of how they do it, or something they feel is not really necessary to show. So I grab this kind of little pieces and extend and make it as a book. I think in I think all these new form, not new form, all these form are basic in the content. Like the comics these days compared to manga, like it's basic the same form, and it's a pack industry. And when I see the Europe comics or the US comics, it was in color, or it has different, you can use different material. And it was also a shocking thing to me. Like, wow, the comics print in CMYK, that's really expensive. How does it work? But the way artists use different materials, so the book form will have more different form of books, because it changed the paper, the binding need to suit the comic artist's work. So I don't know. I think these days, as a comic artist or artist, we need to know how I output my comics. Like if I draw by pencil, if I ask a publisher to do it, it's in part I hope they won't choose a shiny paper. So everything is a kind of connect to each other, and so many good artists trying to do comics. But I think comics is really matter with everything. It's about how you make the conversation, and also how you're going to present your book. And I can show you something I nearly noticed. It's not nearly noticed. It's a re-edition of Japanese comics, and this is the original of from the, I think the artist name is Yuzuki Gao. The problem of me speaking Japanese artist name, because we read it in kanji, so we pronounce it in Mandarin. But yeah, I should pronounce her name in right Japanese for you guys. And yeah, and there are some pages when she draw the rain, and it's about really weird story about some teenager girls. Okay, like this page, and I don't know if you guys see clearly, but when I saw this page in original, I feel not original. Maybe it's also not the artist, what the artist want, but I feel the rain is cold rain. It's like the beginning of the summer or beginning of the winter. It's like the cold rain,
spring
or spring. But the new edition, they print really dark, and you feel the rain is like an Amazon rain. It's like a really hot summer jungle humid rain. So this kind of thing change the
translate.
It's not about the translate word. It's not about words. It's not about story. It's just about the, I don't know, the reps, how this, I don't know, I even don't know what the artist, what kind of rain the artist want to show. Maybe maybe he want a hot rain, but I just think this is something really matters. If as a publisher or artist this day, we can control, maybe control. Take care, more take care about it. Yeah. And what else?
安在
安在
网点的问题。
安在
OK。
Yeah, when I discuss this kind of a comic reprint issue to my friend, and they say maybe these old books in the old time are also not really good print, but come to these days we thought, wow, it's so vintage feeling, it's well print. But I don't think so. I think they printed really good. They know what the atmosphere should be like. And this is the same artist, but really white. The paper is matter. I think I almost finished, and just some my new work. I think maybe Bill, you say it's also a comics feeling, but I'm not sure. Maybe I hope I won't get some comic artists irritated or angry. And this is a book about page numbers. And I think page numbers usually is for aiming the page. Like, oh, I already read this book until 23, or this is what page number usually do. But I made this book like you can cut down the pages, so the page number become a navigator, like a guide for you to go through the books. So it's like a page 1, and then you go to page 2, 3, 4, and then you will choose this page or that page. It make this book have many directions going on. And I feel after Bill said maybe a comics, I feel, oh yeah, maybe it's about the time and space in a book. Yeah. And after that, she had made a sister book with this book. It's a cutout of this book. So this book has bigger version. It's a book, and this book called Viewfinder. So it's basically a book of me. I can only see me.
You show the remaining page navigate.
Oh, and this cut is from Navigate. Yeah. And we stamp all the page numbers. Yeah, she had made this book. No one want to make this book for us, so we do it. Now we do it. She had do it by hand.
The printer don't want to.
And I made this book 300 edition, and this book only 100 edition because it's thicker. Yeah, I think that's it. What else? I think that's it. Maybe.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. That was an incredible presentation. Thank you. You said so many interesting things. I'm always, even though, and when you were showing it's so funny. I talk a lot to artists who are really interested in comics and who are artists. And certainly in the United States, you know, we have a lot of publishers publishing comics and graphic novels, but they don't necessarily have a lot of experience working directly with printers. And you see often these books, like really good comics, but the printing is not very good necessarily. Or if you're fortunate enough to travel, you might go like, oh, the French edition is better than the American edition. Oh yeah, that's another book of yours. That's by Misaki Kawai. Do you want to say something about this?
You can continue and I can just show. I feel
Okay.
more
Yeah,
comfortable.
this book I don't have, but I know this book, and it's the only book I've seen. I'm sure there are others, but it's the only one I've seen that has two bindings. So it's yeah, it's a spiral bound book. There's so much that's really interesting that what you said. I think in a way, I feel like you know, you know, the things that you talked about at the beginning, thinking about the way your father read books and the way you read books, and how at first it was different, but then in a way you and your father were both interacting with books differently. You know, he was thinking about, oh, the artist made this line like this, but you know, maybe you're imagining the story because you're reading it really fast, or you don't 100% understand the language, or you're imagining things that aren't in the book. So you're also interacting with the book too. And now you make books that people can interact with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And most of my publication also without words.
Yes. And that's by Aishin.
Yeah, it's a Haishin's book.
Yeah, wonderful. Beautiful. But it's funny too, you mentioned also the work of the Garo artists and how that was really shocking to you, because if I understood you correctly, like the voice, the personality of the Garo artist is so strong that you can't make your own book inside of it. It's like everything's coming at you, so you have to really understand the author. But that's different from the kind of book you publish with Nos books.
Yeah.
You make books that people can interact with different, or interact with the author maybe.
Yeah. I think yes, I think I feel that too. I feel I feel everyone has their reality. So even though I read Garo, even though this day I understand they translate in Mandarin, I read it, I still reflect my reality. So it's not their own story anymore. It's this kind of feeling. I don't know how to explain. So to my own work or the publication I do for artists, usually I feel we are kind of blind people touching elephant, and I only touch this part and you only touch this part. So I, as a publisher, I also a artist and also a reader. So I have three parts. I can touch three parts, but I feel there's more parts can other people feel it. I don't show them what's really show people what's the eternity. Yeah.
And yeah, no, you're doing great. Thank you so much. And you know, it's early in the morning. You know, maybe you haven't been practicing speaking English lately. You're doing amazing. It's very, very good. One thing that's interesting too is it sounds like you make a lot of drawings and then you edit them over, you know, sometimes more than one time. Do you sometimes like feel like I'm using the same drawings too much? I need to make more drawings, maybe a new series, new subject, new something, or are you always just extending and expanding from one group? Like how is that for you?
Oh, I think I separate drawing, just creative drawing, and editing these days quite a lot. And I can do drawing every day and without really notice what am I doing. But when I do editing, I need to know what, like it's kind of different brain. But
Yeah.
back to comics, still really hard because it's a if you're using this kind of editing way, you still need something like in language, you still need some 介词, something in between. So it's hard to just arrange it. I don't know if it's correct.
Yeah. Okay. Well, no, and that's related. You know, someone in the chat, Randy, was interested in knowing more about your editing process. So when you begin to edit for a project, I'm guessing that maybe the first thing you think about is what is the format, right? Is it a 12-page book, a 20-page book, a story, a 20-page story for Lagon or something? And then when you're editing, how do you make choices?
Choices. This
How do you make a selection? Yeah.
It's back to the content. It's
Yeah.
like it's about what you're going to say in this Lagon issue or in this book. So every time I feel it's content first and then format. So and also I publish books for artists. There are a lot of different formats, and all this some kind of format I would love to. I cannot do it myself as my drawing. Like Hai Xin's book, I would love to have my own book like this. I would love to have my own drawing like this book, but I cannot do it. If I do this kind of format, then the format control my work. I don't want to do my content, my work just for a format. So it's back to the content always, I think.
Okay. No, that's wonderful. Yeah, that's fascinating. That's a great response. Absolutely. Let's see. I mean, I could continue to ask a few questions. Does anybody else in the audience have any other questions for Sun, who's joining us from Taipei today?
I could ask a question if
that'd be great. Go ahead, Jenny.
Oh, okay. Hi, I really love your work. It's so creative, and thank you for your inspiring presentation.
Thank you.
Sure. I wanted to know, so I love how like you're talking about how the content really shapes the format of the book, and you guys have some like really interesting formats. I guess I'm curious if you ever would compromise the format to accommodate a printer. Like you really want to work with a certain printer, would you compromise on some aspect of the format? Or would you say like when you come up with a format, it needs to be that way? And you guys will make it happen no matter what?
Oh. I think everything is like a blender machine. It's shape. It's still need to think about the price and what it costs to make this book. And is it possible the printer will do it? If he don't do it or she don't do it, can I do it? And do I have time to do it? Or sometimes I really want it work, I will do it. But then 800 copies of book, like open sandwich in my studio or my room, is pain of the ass to collect everything. So everything need to small negotiate, but the main idea won't change. Something will change a bit, but the main thing won't change. Like I think she has book is we don't really negotiate, so she might have to do it. but he said 100 copies is okay for him, and some some 工程, some 工序,
some procedure.
some procedure, we still ask people to do it. So we have to separate all the procedures.
Okay, thank you. If I could ask one follow-up, how do you show a printer a complicated idea? Is the best way just making it like making a mock-up?
Yeah, making a mock-up is the best way.
Cool. Thank you.
Yeah. 例如厚纸板的厚度怎么样
everything make a mock-up is best because the thickness of the paper board or the thickness of everything, the thickness matters, and everything touch you feel different, or some papers edge is too sharp. Or like when the beginning my friend do zing to the laser printing zing, and he showed me, and I said, oh, the laser printer this day the words really, the edge of the text is really sharp, and I feel my eye cannot adjust with the sharp laser print. So I asked my friend maybe he would love to blurry a bit the words to let the laser to print out. So I think everything need to test print, and your body will know what's wrong. Like the distance of the size matter with the distance of seeing, like this kind of thing.
Thank you.
I feel like the kinds of books Sun makes are kind of my favorite types of books. They're books by publishers who use like large scale printing presses as if they're printmakers, you know, so it's kind of like the book arts aesthetic, but applied to the techniques of mass production, you know, and so, you know, and that I think for people who really love books, there are aspects that Sun was just describing, like just the tactility of the book or the size of the words or just how it feels in your hand, the weight of the book. I mean, compared to the dimensions of it that are very hard to quantify. And sometimes it seems that, you know, it's interesting to see how some publishers are attentive to that and others are not. There is a question in the chat from CT Lim, who asks, will you be working on a book with Chihai again? Sun, will you be working on another book with Chihai?
Comics?
Any book.
Yeah, we have some plans for his book because Chihai, he's also a comic artist, and these days he do a lot of painting. So I think it's time to print one of his painting book. And also he want to draw. Before he draw a book fight, and now he want to draw book porn. For your information.
Okay, we'll look forward to that. Do you have with you also the last comic you printed by Chihai, the reprinting of the library and the other book? Do you have that with you there?
Yes, the library.
Yeah.
The library, we make two books. And in the library, the story of the library, there is a hidden chapter that doesn't exist in the book, but we put the hidden chapter in different libraries. So if you guys interested, you can search where we put the hidden chapter. In the beginning, I do this book. I wanted with the plexi surface because I usually read comics when I take shower or bath. So I can read it with one hand and like this. So if it is a cover, it won't get wet. But then I want it to be comics. I want to be cheap like manga. But this plastic surface costs a lot. So I don't think people will read it in the bathroom.
Yeah. Well, no, I like too how so much of your thinking really is about the way books relate to people, because you were talking even at the beginning, your first zines that you published, you're thinking about the personality of the artist who's very shy, so you put the scratch off on top of the drawings because it's a shy person, so it's how the book reflects the person. But also you're thinking too how people use books in their lives, so you want a book for the shower and a book for the subway, and how the book can be part of your life in different ways. So it's cool. It's very cool. Does anyone else have any questions? Okay, and I see that CT Lim has just posted a link to an interview with Chihai if anybody wants to see that. Okay, any other questions? And if not, no? Okay. Great. Okay, well, please join me in thanking Sun for being here today. You can applaud, physically or virtually, as you like. And next week, we will be having another online meeting of the New York Comics and Picture Story Symposium, and that will be Jordan Wong speaking on object lessons for the moving image. So thank you so much, Sun, for sharing so much wonderful insight, both about your background as a reader, the artwork that you make, and your approach to publishing. Oh, and actually, before I go, I just want to remember one very happy memory. I remember in my older apartment one time, Sun, you and Chihai and Haishin came to visit, and I had the Fantagraphics edition of Arsène Schrauen by Olivier Schrauen, and I also had the original risograph editions, and you guys were sitting there hunched over them, comparing the offset to the riso, to see the differences and see which one you like better. And I think everyone had a chance to see tonight how much you really, really care about and love beautiful books. So thank you again. Thank you for being with us here tonight. And please join us next week for next week's presentation. Thanks again, and bye-bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.